Alright y'all, so this next part of the project is making a little wind deflector of sorts to kind of help the air go over the panels as we're driving. So we got a few things to think about. We got some mounting points here on the ends. We left them kind of sticking out so that we can have a spot to mount the deflector to, because we didn't really want to put them all the way up here. We were thinking, oh, what if they're a little bit short and then they're at a slight angle. Now we also have the slope of the roof kind of working against us. So we need to figure out what we're gonna do for that. So I got some construction paper here and a knife and some tape to help tape this up. And basically I'm just gonna kind of put this up so that I can start to cut out the slope or crease or something. Not really sure what the best way of doing this is, so I'm just gonna try one side, because I think I'm gonna just do two pieces, have one going from the center over and then the next piece on the other side, overlapping in the center just a little bit so that we could fasten it together as one piece. Also because I don't have a piece that's big enough to span that area. So, there you go. All right, we have our template. So this line here represents where the roof is, and this dotted line is our hypothetical flange that will flange out. So it seemed to work all right to tape this up and then just kind of push it against the roof where it was gonna lay while it was kind of slanted a little bit. So I think that will work pretty good.
But does it look cute?
Super cute.
Cute? Was it cute, guys? Let me know if it was cute. I've been in here painting.
You're doing a good job painting.
I gotta finish this. We need to get this ceiling up so we can pop out the mattress and we start staying in the bus.
That sounds amazing. Nice, you're doing a great job, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Really nice thing about whitewash is that, like, we're probably not even gonna go through one bucket of white paint through this whole build. Isn't that cool?
That's good to know.
Just saying.
Good job.
You want to save yourself some cash, do a whitewash.
So we consulted with a professional metal fabricator on doing this. Originally we thought about just putting a piece of paper against the front of the bus and then tracing the front off the back side to get the curve of the roof. But because this is tilting out a little bit, doing that wasn't really gonna work completely, because now we're introducing an angle to it, which would make the curve a little bit more gradual. So we were brainstorming together, and I said, well, if we trace the front, that's gonna happen. And he was just like, put your template up, pull it to the angle you want, and then trace it against the roof. And that's how you're gonna get that angle, so that, or the curve. So that's not the actual curve of the roof, that's the curve of the roof with a slope on it. Pretty cool, huh?
That's cool, Brad.
Sure is, Erin. Now we'll find a piece of metal that's about this big, and we'll scribe this on the metal and then cut it out. But something before we do that, this top edge is the actual top edge of the metal, or of where it's gonna live itself. So I actually want it to extend higher, because I'm gonna basically, if this was the top edge, here's an example for you. If this was the top edge, I'm gonna fold the metal like this, and then I'm gonna fold it again, and then that'll be our mounting point up against the unistrut, and then also against the angle iron. right, there's our cut line. Right there. Alright, now that we have cut and broke the edge to the little bendy angle, let's see how the template fits comparatively. Ah, that's pretty nice. Pretty good, pretty good. So now, this line here is where the actual roof is at. So I'm gonna make little slices with the tin snips and then bend up those little flanges just a hair so that it fits better on the roof. So hopefully this works. All right, so initially I thought that I was going to make little incisions along the path to do the little angle, but I want to try to use this this handheld seamer here and see if, I think it's called a seamer, a little bender of some kind, but I'm gonna see if maybe we can just make some marks at 1 inch along the little path here and see if we can just make the bends when we're up on the roof. In hindsight, I should have just brought the little scribe. So I'm just doing some little dots. Later we're gonna paint this, probably with Cool Flex. Cool Flex. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bend this in an arc. I've never done this before. So, all things considered, we'll do what we can with what we have. See if we can't make this work. And the paper wasn't long enough for getting all the way to the end, so this last part's a complete guesstimation. So I'm gonna definitely bring the snips up there when we go up there. And the seamer. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna be pretty nice. So let's try that. I'm not even gonna call it a first idea. I'm just gonna call it the second idea maybe, where we just start doing some bends. All right, here it is so far, with the bottom edge bent at the 1 inch mark. It looks like it's sitting pretty nice. I didn't film this, but I'm gonna film the next one. I ended up making some marks because this was coming straight out and I wanted it to kind of curve around the side of the bus, so it'll end up being attached like that. So what I did was I made marks every about inch or so, and then I noticed that, okay, from this mark to that mark, it's about 1/8 of an inch, and then 1/4 inch, then maybe about 1/2, then 3/4 or so. And so I was like, okay, so if I break this towards the edge, you can kind of see that ripple right there with the lines. So I just went from the top corner right here to each mark and then bent just a little bit each time, and so that it'll make that kind of curve. And so the piece that comes up the side here will end up attaching to this with rivets probably. and we'll cut that piece at some point soon. But first off, we're gonna get this entire front edge situated before we start attaching it, because we also want to use some cool flex to paint it to match the dirty color of the roof. Alright, so now that that one is nice and curved around, that's where it's gonna live. This will wrap around further. We'll have rivets going into the roof with seam sealer to seal off those protrusions. Now, we gotta bend this one up. That way I don't knock off all my pile of everything. And get that one all bent up also. Get these, this flange bent out as well. Alright, so this part right here is going to have to be bent down just a little bit more so that it allows room for these knobs. The ends are also going to have to be bent down a little bit. And then this guy's going to go here. And so... There we go, that's close enough. And then next we will go and do the brakes for this corner. All right, to get those creases to do that, where it rounds around the corner, I made a dot every inch on the front side, but we have to bend it towards the back, so I'm just transferring that dot to the back. So now we got our dots back there. And then each one has to go into the brake. So I line up the edge here to the dot, and it's going to go for every single one on there. Let's see, there should be, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you could do this with angle iron also. Just get 2 pieces of angle iron and clamp them together. And then just do a little bit. There you go. A little bit goes a long way on this particular maneuver. Line it up to the corner and the next dot. Bend it a little bit more. And you'll see that it is starting to make a curve, a geometric curve. There we go. See that? I made the curve from the top edge to the bottom edge. It's got a curve, and then now we'll be able to just like put it along the edge of the roof, and it should lay down pretty nice. There we go. It looks like it'll lay down real nice. That's solid, y'all. All right, it is coming along. So our next dilemma is the corners. See how the knob is kind of underneath here? We either need to bend this down and maybe like, I was thinking maybe like hammering it. Erin said maybe cut it. And I think we both think that just bending it down somehow would be good so that this knob can clear this front edge. And then that's on both sides. And then on the center one here, it looks like we're almost to a clearance. So I was thinking maybe we could break this one a little bit lower and maybe just have like a kind of a swooping break of some kind. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I will get on the hand seamer and see about what that would look like. So probably give us a little bit of wiggle room, and it just needs to come down just a little bit. And that's both sides, because there's a overlap of about, what is that, 6 inches or so there in the center. Yeah, roughly 6 inches, 5 3/4 of an overlap. And so that'll add stability and strength to this front. But if we get the hand seamer, this guy right here, and just kind of break that a little bit lower, then I think that would work really, really good. And then after that, we can drill a few holes through this lip here and get that attached to the roof and get the corners pegged down as well. So that should do pretty good. And then whenever the wind hits it, it'll hit here and then it'll push it up and over the panels, hopefully. Pretty decent. And I think I'm going to throw a couple rivets every once in a while going through here. Or I actually might just start riveting the side panel together and see if that keeps it nice and tucked, because I don't know, that might vibrate while we're driving. If we don't rivet it, we might have to put 1 or 2. All right, so I'm gonna drop rivets in where I've got a nice area that I can, 1, reach with the seam sealer. 2, I know that there is no electrical wires underneath the roof in this area, because I just checked, it's about 14 inches in, and everything that is electrical is about 16 inches in. And then the last thing is that this flange, I want it to be in an area that the flange lays nice and flush on the roof to prevent possible water seeping in. But we're gonna put some of this seam sealer on the hole in between the metal. So it's gotta be in a spot that we can lift this up initially. So I'm gonna drill all the holes. And after drilling the holes, put seam sealer on all of them and then rivet all of them. So I already cleaned it off with a little bit of the simple green. And And now just making sure it's nice and dry because it's been raining out. So what I'm doing here is I just traced the line of where the metal actually meets metal here in the corner, and then I drew a dotted line about an inch away, maybe 3/4 of an inch away, because that solid line is where we're gonna break it inward, and then the dotted line we're gonna cut along that so that there's a flap that goes behind this piece, and then we're gonna rivet those pieces together. I did a pretty obtuse, a pretty tight break right here so that it would fit over the side of the rail. And I left it loose so that I could just slide it on and off easily. But what's gonna end up happening is this is gonna end up being a lot tighter. We'll clamp it down so it's nice and flush, and then throw a couple rivets here in the top as well to hold that. So looks like this is gonna come out pretty nice.
We're taking our baby into
the mechanic. She needs a compressor and some other things done, so let's go.
This is our first time away from her. Well, we've had nights and stuff without her, but leaving her outside of the barn, not in a place that, you know, we put her.
We're using some Havelock wool bags to cover our beautiful seats. We cleaned her out last night, and now she's all pretty. And we get to go on a little road trip.
She's looking good. That's a good looking girl. Or boy. We don't really know, actually. Brian's getting all buckled up, ready to go. All right, here we go. All right, off into the wild. I gotta turn this off so I can drive. Dropping her off at Danny's. Well, that was one heck of an expense, but I think it's probably one of the smartest expenses that we've made so far, and really because everything mechanical pertains to our safety and the longevity of this machine that we have spent over a year and a half working on now. So we're super excited to get the bus back. Brian's so stoked. He obviously is so happy that he just got to drive it. And just driving along behind him, watching it was so joyful, watching all the heads turn. Really, really cool. Now we got to get back to work. We have literally 11 days until we're out of the barn. So wish us luck. Looks like a beautiful day to go for a rip. What do you think, bud?
Oh yeah, bud. Going for a rip, bud. In the school bus.
Look at this.